So now start that again. Hi, everybody, with some sound. Welcome to Breakfast with the Thomases. I am Elra B. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, you want to share who you are? What do you also know, man?
Okay, everything.
Mr. Thomas, can you hear me now? Al? Oh, we have sound issues. Well, not unlike most days. Grand Rising and how and welcome everyone. Thank you for being patient through our sound issues. Mr. Thomas, you can't hear me on your I'm already live. You're live too. We're both live and you can't hear me. Please turn on your sound so you can hear me. I know, but everyone else can. Hi, Mr. Thomas. Can you hear me now? Uh-oh. We're live in the audience. Let's see. Everybody can hear me? Uh-oh. We're live everywhere with sound except your computer. You have to fix that. We're live everywhere with sound except your computer. You have to fix that. The only one that can't hear me is you. Guys, look, this happens. I don't even worry about it. What I want to share with you guys today is that we have some really good content. Mr. Thomas was a little bit out of it about the content for the day, and I wanted to make sure that I put it up. Give me one moment. So I need to add it to another screen, and I'll make sure I'll be ready for y'all. So who out here is up in the daytime and y'all ready to just have a wonderful rising today? Because even for sure, I could have never expected this day to go this way. It's a beautiful Monday morning, crisp and cool, or colder than I've ever seen it. And still, I'm excited for life. So we're going to talk about some things, and I don't want anyone to, if you are getting triggered, I need you to let us know. Today's conversation is going to be about your mental wellness, how to put you at ease around what it is that's happening. You guys are seeing all the news. I know I took some time to take a minute and look at what you all see in the news because I normally do not watch the news. What do you call it? I pick and choose. I cherry pick my news when it comes to popular media, when it comes to like traditional media, and I very seldom use television to do it. Now, I took a little time this weekend to see what it is that you're all seeing because I am above the lies. And I say that because what I seek in information for my life gives to what I'm doing, my goals. And a lot of people, you guys are just kind of taking it in and you're hoping to get to your goals, but you're not feeding them well because the information that you're getting doesn't feed your goals. And some of you guys, I know y'all may think that this is a little bit, Miss Ruby, how you gonna come at us like that? The goal of the conversation is to get you to see that there's more than one way. There's actually a way to fast forward, but you've got to be in reality of what is happening. You want to get to these great goals of being wealthy. I have a lot of people who talk wealth with us, but no one really is structuring wealth. They're structuring money. Mr. T, are you able to hear me? Are you yet able to hear me?
I can I can hear you. I can hear you now. I can hear
Okay.
you now. It just took a moment to catch up.
Let's go back to one mic.
You
And I
just
want to,
went
oh,
blank.
let's see. And I want to say, we got to give love. You have the one mic available. One mic. One mic. On all levels. You have one mic on all levels. Okay. So let's do it. Let's have a conversation for what is happening. What's going on in the world that affects every one of us? finances. Everyone's not sick. Everyone's not lonely. Everyone's not without work. But everyone has the same problem, and most of us don't know it. The financial system, the one that we're a part of, is failing. And I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm not telling you this to get you to buy something. I'm hoping to wake you up. I'm hoping you'll wake up and deal with what is real and get some resolutions and some support. And I know that you all have certain circumstances, there's certain reserves we've got about this. But I want you to know that there's hope, there's support, and there's a movement for getting things done in this area. I'm trying to we're here to let everyone know. Mr. Thomas, can you open your mic? Do you want to share some of what the goal is for today? Because you got to set this up. My brother, you set up this video. I'm just going to play it. But this one was on you. And I know that you have the best of intentions at heart. Are you able to open up your mic and share a little bit of where this came from for you? All right, let's switch.
All right, Grand Rising family, Grand Rising, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh man, and I know this is like the content that you're going to see today. Can you hear? The content that you're going to hear today is, I'm going to be very honest, I found it slightly disturbing when I heard it. I found it slightly disturbing. But I realized there's a system in play. There's a system in play, and we all need to know what the system is and how the system works so that we can come out on the other side ahead of this game. We talk about getting out on the other screen, getting out on the other side, but we don't know is how. Most of the time, we don't know how we got there. We just hear inflation. We hear inflation, recession. We hear like the government not working. They can't balance the budget. What this video depicts is the process of how they got there. And that once you know how they got there, you know what to do how to deal with the other side. One is education, 2 is protection, and 3 is learning how to use assets correctly. And that's what we do here at P2G every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on the class that we're having on November 6th, it is the way for you to come in and take advantage of being on the other side, from just pennies to get started. And I'm very excited to be in here this morning. And I'm like, the content is not to scare any of you, and I'm gonna be very forthcoming. If you were triggered, hit us in the chat. We have some numbers you can call and deal with it. Finances are as emotional as anything else are for many people. Historically, they say more people break up marriages and relationships over finances like you wouldn't believe. But understanding where this comes from gives you a better leg to stand on and allows you to be in the conversation for action, opposed to leaning back on your heels, waiting for them to tell you when the ball is going to fall on you. So I'm going to pull back my mic. I'm gonna let Miss Ruby take on the screen, and I want to shout out Miss Shelby, Black Casper's in the building, and everybody on Clapper and Stereo. I know my brother was trying to get in this morning. I'm gonna send him another link so he can reach in, so he can hear us. And maybe the floor is yours.
Collapse, specifically currency collapse, and it happens the exact same way every single time. Rome, the empire that ruled the known world for 5 centuries, collapsed when its currency became worthless. Spain, which controlled more gold and silver than any nation in history, went bankrupt repeatedly until its empire dissolved. Britain, which dominated global trade for 200 years, lost its empire within a decade after its currency collapsed. 4 times in recorded history, a dominant empire has followed this exact pattern. Military overextension, unsustainable spending, currency debasement or money printing, inflation, loss of confidence, collapse. And every time, the people in power believed they were different, that their empire was special, that the old rules didn't apply to them. They were wrong, every single time. And right now in 2025, the United States is following that exact same pattern, step by step, warning sign by warning sign. The only question is whether we're near the beginning, the middle, or the end. This is the story of how empires destroy themselves through their own currency, how it happened to Rome, Spain, and Britain, and why every warning sign says it's happening again. Let's start with Rome, the empire that dominated Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East for over 500 years. At its peak, Rome controlled 60 million people across 3 continents. Its military was unmatched. Its infrastructure was the most advanced on Earth. Its currency, the denarius, was trusted everywhere, from Britain to Egypt. The denarius was a silver coin introduced in 211 BC. It contained about 4.5 grams of pure silver. For centuries, it held its value because the Roman government maintained its purity. When you received a denarius, you knew exactly what you were getting. Pure silver, real value. This created trust, and trust allowed Rome to fund its expansion, pay its soldiers, and build its infrastructure. But empires are expensive. Every generation, Rome's borders expanded. Every expansion required more soldiers, more forts, more roads, more administration. And eventually, more money than Rome actually had. So they did what every empire does when it spends more than it earns. They debased the currency. Emperor Nero, ruling from 54 to 68 AD, was the first to significantly reduce the silver content of the denarius. He needed to fund his lavish lifestyle and expensive military campaigns, so he ordered the mints to reduce the silver content from 100% to 90%. That extra 10%, pure profit for the emperor. He could mint 11 coins with the silver that used to make 10, more coins in circulation. Same amount of silver, that's inflation. But 90% silver was still substantial. The real destruction came later. By the time Emperor Caracalla ruled in 211 AD, the denarius was down to 50% silver, half real value, half base metal. By 265 AD, under Emperor Gallienus, it had fallen to just 5% silver. A coin that was once pure silver was now 95% worthless metal with a thin silver coating. Think about what that means. If you were a Roman soldier in 265 AD receiving your pay in denarii, you were being paid in coins worth 1/20th of what soldiers earned 2 centuries earlier. The government told you nothing had changed. The coin still said denarius. They still had the emperor's face, but the purchasing power had collapsed. Prices exploded. What cost 1 denarius in 200 AD cost 50 denarii by 300 AD. Farmers stopped selling food for coins and demanded barter instead. Soldiers refused to fight unless paid in gold or goods. Tax collectors couldn't collect taxes because the currency was worthless. The entire economic system seized up. And here's the key. This wasn't caused by foreign invasion. Rome's borders were still defended. This wasn't caused by plague or natural disaster. This was self-inflicted. The Roman government destroyed its own currency to fund spending it couldn't afford. And when the currency died, the empire died with it. By 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire officially collapsed. Not because Germanic tribes were stronger, but because Rome couldn't pay its armies anymore, couldn't fund its administration, couldn't maintain its infrastructure. The currency had been debased into irrelevance, and everything built on that currency collapsed. The pattern: military expansion, unsustainable spending, currency debasement, inflation, loss of economic function, collapse. Rome proved the pattern, and every empire since has repeated it. Now let's jump forward 12 centuries. Spain, 1500s. The Spanish Empire is just beginning its golden age. Christopher Columbus has opened the New World. Hernan Cortez has conquered the Aztecs. Francisco Pizarro has conquered the Incas. And Spain now controls the richest territories on Earth. In 1545, Spanish explorers discovered the Cerro Rico mountain in Potosi, in what is now Bolivia. This isn't just a silver mine, it's the largest silver deposit ever discovered. For the next century, Potosi will produce nearly half of the world's silver, millions of pounds of it. Ships loaded with silver cross the Atlantic, filling Spanish coffers with wealth beyond imagination. Spain mints this silver into coins. The Spanish dollar becomes the first true global currency. It's used from Europe to Asia. It's trusted, it's pure, and there's an endless supply of it. Spain becomes the richest, most powerful empire on Earth. At its peak, the Spanish Empire controls territories on every inhabited continent. The sun never sets on Spanish holdings. And then, exactly like Rome, they destroy themselves. Because there's a paradox with money. More money doesn't make you richer if everyone has more money. When Spain floods Europe with silver, prices rise. What cost 1 silver coin in 1500 costs 10 coins by 1600. The silver hasn't become less pure. There's just vastly more of it. That's inflation. Spain is importing so much silver that it's destroying the value of silver itself. And worse, Spain isn't producing anything. They're not building industries. They're not innovating. They're just extracting wealth from the colonies and spending it on wars, palaces, and luxury goods imported from other countries. The silver flows in from the Americas and flows right back out to France, England, and the Netherlands. To pay for goods, Spain doesn't produce itself. By the late 1500s, Spain's kings are drowning in debt. King Philip II, ruling from 1556 to 1598, inherits massive debt from his father, Charles I, 36 million ducats in debt. And rather than cut spending, Philip borrows more. He fights wars on multiple fronts against the Ottoman Empire, against Protestant rebels in the Netherlands, against England, and when the debt becomes unpayable, he defaults. In 1557, Philip II declares bankruptcy and suspends all debt payments. This is the first sovereign default in modern history, but it's not the last. Spain defaults again in 1560, again in 1575, again in 1596, 4 defaults in 40 years. Despite controlling half the world's silver production, Spain can't pay its debts. Each default destroys trust. Lenders refuse to lend to Spain. Interest rates on Spanish debt skyrocket. And the government responds by debasing the currency. They start minting coins with less silver. They introduce copper coins that are supposed to be worth as much as silver coins. Nobody believes it. The currency loses credibility. By the 1600s, Spain is in terminal decline. The military can't be funded. The colonies begin to break away. And when the 30 Years' War ends in 1648, Spain signs the Peace of Westphalia, which marks the beginning of the end. By 1700, the Spanish Empire is essentially over. The country that once controlled the world's wealth had spent and borrowed itself into irrelevance. The pattern again: massive wealth influx, government overspending, excessive borrowing, currency inflation, repeated defaults, loss of confidence, collapse. Spain proved that even endless resources can't save an empire from fiscal mismanagement. Now we come to Britain, the empire that lasted longer, stretched further, and controlled more wealth than Rome or Spain combined. At its peak in 1922, the British Empire governed 458 million people, 1/4 of the world's population, 1/4 of the world's land. The sun never set on the British Empire, not because they controlled every time zone, but because they controlled so much territory that it was always daytime somewhere under British rule. And the British pound sterling was the foundation of it all. For over 2 centuries, the pound was the world's reserve currency. Over 60% of global trade was invoiced in pounds. The gold standard anchored everything. 1 pound sterling could be exchanged for a fixed amount of gold. This created trust, stability, and power. But empires are built on credit, and credit has to be repaid. Britain funded its empire through borrowing, government bonds, debt to finance wars, colonies, infrastructure, administration. As long as the pound held its value, this worked. But then came World War I. In 1914, Britain's national debt was $650 million. By 1919, after 4 years of total war, it had exploded to over $7 billion. That's a tenfold increase in 5 years. To fund the war, Britain had borrowed from everyone, from its own citizens, from the United States, from anyone who would lend. But the war also forced Britain off the gold standard. In 1914, when war broke out, the government suspended gold convertibility. They had to print money to fund the war effort. They couldn't maintain gold backing while doing it. The pound became a fiat currency, backed by nothing but the government's promise. After the war, Britain tried to return to gold. In 1925, Winston Churchill, then Chancellor of the Exchequer, put Britain back on the gold standard at the pre-war exchange rate. This was a catastrophic mistake. The pound was overvalued. British exports became uncompetitive. Unemployment soared, and the government had to maintain high interest rates to defend the currency, which crushed economic growth. By 1931, Britain was forced off gold again, permanently this time. The pound was devalued, and trust in British currency began to erode. But the real destruction came after World War II. Britain entered World War II already deeply in debt. The war cost everything. By 1945, Britain's national debt had reached 270% of GDP. The empire had bankrupted itself to win the war. Entire cities were in ruins. The economy was shattered. And Britain owed massive debts to the United States. In 1944, while the war was still raging, the Bretton Woods Conference redesigned the global financial system. The British pound was officially replaced as the world's primary reserve currency. The US dollar took its place. Britain fought desperately to preserve the pound's status, but it was over. They had the debt, but not the gold or the economy, to back their currency anymore. What followed was a slow, humiliating decline. In 1947, Britain tried to make the pound convertible again. The experiment lasted 6 weeks before a run on the currency forced them to reimpose controls. In 1949, the pound was devalued by 30%. In 1967, it was devalued again. Each devaluation destroyed savings, crushed confidence, and signaled to the world that Britain was no longer a first-rate power. Meanwhile, the empire disintegrated. India gained independence in 1947. Egypt nationalized the Suez Canal in 1956, and Britain's military response was a humiliating failure. Colony after colony broke away, not because they were conquered by outside forces, but because Britain could no longer afford to maintain them. By the 1970s, Britain was on the verge of becoming a failed state. Inflation hit 25%. The government went begging to the IMF for a bailout. The pound, which had once been the world's reserve currency, was now a symbol of decline. The empire that controlled a quarter of the earth had lost it all within 30 years, not through military defeat, through currency collapse and debt. The pattern once more, war debt, currency debasement, loss of reserve status, devaluation, inflation, imperial collapse. Britain proved that even the strongest empire can fall within a single generation when its currency fails. Which brings us to now, the United States, the current empire, the current reserve currency, and every single warning sign that destroyed Rome, Spain, and Britain is flashing red. Let's start with the currency. The US dollar has been the world's reserve currency since 1944. After World War II, the Bretton Woods system made the dollar the global standard. It was backed by gold, $35 per ounce. Other nations pegged their currencies to the dollar, and the dollar was as good as gold, literally. But just like Rome, just like Britain, the United States started spending more than it had. The Vietnam War, the Great Society programs, military bases around the world. By the 1960s, foreign governments noticed that America was printing more dollars than it had gold to back them. France, under Charles de Gaulle, started demanding gold in exchange for dollars. Other nations followed. The gold was leaving Fort Knox. The bluff was being called. In 1971, President Nixon closed the gold window. No more gold backing. The dollar became a pure fiat currency, just like the debased Roman denarius, just like the pound after 1931, backed by nothing but trust and the government's promise. At first, it seemed fine. The petrodollar system established in the 1970s created artificial demand for dollars because oil was priced in dollars globally. But the spending never stopped. The debt kept growing. In 1980, U.S. national debt was $900 billion. By 2000, it was $5.6 trillion. By 2020, it was $27 trillion. Today, in 2025, it's over $36 trillion. That's a 40-fold increase in 45 years. And it's accelerating. But the debt is only part of the story. Like Rome debasing the denarius, like Spain flooding the world with silver, the United States is printing money. Since 2008, the Federal Reserve has created trillions of dollars from nothing, quantitative easing they call it, necessary to stabilize the economy. During COVID, they printed over $4 trillion in 2 years, more money created than in the previous century combined. And just like every empire before, they told us it wouldn't cause inflation, that modern economics had solved the old problems, that we were different. We're not. Inflation hit 9% in 2022. Real inflation, the prices you actually pay for food, housing, healthcare, is far higher. The dollar is being debased, slowly at first. But the pattern always accelerates. And just like Britain, the United States is losing reserve currency status. In 2000, over 70% of global reserves were held in dollars. Today, it's 58% and falling. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and new members, are actively building alternatives. They're trading in local currencies, creating new payment systems, reducing dollar dependence. China and Russia are buying gold aggressively. Central banks worldwide are diversifying out of dollars. The world is
All right, now, what are we talking about? Want to say grand rising to everyone who has hopped on. Thank you so much for being with us on Breakfast with the Thomases. Oh, Mr. Thomas. That was a history lesson. And I know, like I said, when we started, anyone who is feeling triggered by this little history lesson, do know that there is something that wasn't mentioned, okay? It wasn't mentioned. And I think we will have to be very cognizant of this. We have to connect this information. I want us to know that everyone did not suffer under these shifts. And the difference between those who suffered under these shifts and those who did not have always been the same. Financial literacy. Because if you were aware, and when we say financial, I need y'all to get, it ain't the money. Y'all got to get that financial literacy is a bigger phrase than it you hear. Today, it's digital financial literacy. That is what we have. That is the world we live in. But you notice that from the empire, the Roman Empire, to today, he went from Rome to Spain to France to Europe to England to United States, and we've all completed the same steps over and over. I always share with everybody, Mr. Thomas, how you not in the order? How you not up here? Get back in here. I'm always sharing with everybody. Let me bring Miss Shelby up. I'm always sharing with everyone that history consistently has repeated itself. I don't care I love history. I was terrible at social studies because I couldn't remember all the dates, but I remembered every story, all the context. I was a kid of the 80s. I grew up in the 80s when the TV was a thing. So stories, books, history, that's how I learned the Bible. Stories. I love context. These are some of the most exciting documents you've ever read. Because they actually happened. To think in the world, these things are actually historic documents of things that actually took place in a world that I live in, that shaped the world we are in. Now, if I give you this short history, can you start looking at the identification? Let's identify where we're at. Okay? So, debasement of currency, 1970, y'all. Oh, but wait, it went way back hundreds of years ago, too. Did it work? No. See, because they started getting the goods, you know what I'm saying? They got them goods, and everybody had the gold and the silver, and then it was just too much for the world. The price kept going up. Wait a minute, everything is worth so much more. We all got money. Now, that's what happened in the 50s, y'all. That's what happened between the 50s, 60s, 70s. The time when the world had the most, y'all remember baby boomers? Y'all remember them? They from the 40s into the 60s. That's that group of people that came into the world at a larger amount. The boom was the fact that so many babies were born and survived and are still around. And the life expectancy. Go ahead, Mr. T. Go ahead. You want to open up? We just straightened this out. My husband he didn't know when the baby boomers was born. I had to straighten them out. Actually, Alexa had to straighten them out. You want to open up? Go ahead. Because that has an effect. Come on, baby.
Grand Rising. Yes. Oh man, yeah, she was. I didn't think 1946 was the beginning of the baby boomers. 1946. But this range is far greater than that. This pattern of debasement and empires of collapsing has been around since 211 AD. 211 AD. I want you to think about it. The Roman Empire, the Spanish Empire, the Brits. It was the Brits, now the U.S. We're looking at a systematic failure where they have literally done everything exactly the same way. We used to make a joke. We said, in the U.S. has never come up with anything new. If we look at globally, no one has come up with anything new. It ain't just here. No one has come. I mean, when we had the Bretton Woods Act in 1944, where the U.S. became the centralized currency or the reserve currency of the world, the only reason we had a leg to stand on was because of the oil. We had oil as a commodity that we used to base the dollar. Some of us call it, we call it the petrodollar for some of us who were in school back then. They call it the petrodollar. Some of us call it the OPEC dollar or whatever. Whatever. It is what it is. But that was our leg to stand on. And we were still operating in the world of credit. And we put debt out there. Currently we're looking at about $37 trillion in U.S. debt. Normally, when it's time for debt, we put our debt on the market, and we have people who want to get in, namely China and Japan, who are our biggest creditors. Whom they are now saying, no, thank you, we don't want that anymore, and they're doing gold in their original. They're using their original country's fiat, which is yen, and I forget the other one. Forgive me, but and they're doing business outside of the dollar with everyone, and they're accepting other countries' fiat, other countries' goal, whatever their goal is for value. Excuse me, they're using gold for value. And I want you to think about our system didn't get into this country. The problem began essentially when we came off the gold standard and started debasing our own dollar in 1971. When in October, strangely enough, the same month, October, when Nixon made that miraculous that gold will no longer be exchangeable, the dollar will no longer be exchangeable. Excuse me, that was backwards. The dollar will no longer be exchangeable for gold. And then we started operating in the world of credit, and we lost our ever-loving. We started spending far what we had available to spend than what we could back up. And when I say we, I mean the U.S. corporation. And we started operated in the world of credit. We borrowed, we lent, and then we turned around and we borrowed some more. Jump up here to 2025, and you know it, and you see it all the way around. The government is currently shut down. People don't know where their paychecks are coming from. People who are on government services don't know where their next meal is coming from. And there's an opportunity right here and now for those who understand what's going on. And Ruby said it earlier, the people who are on the other side already is just waiting for the other shoe to fall. Well, guess what? You have an opportunity not to wait for the shoe to fall, but to step in and take advantage of what's available in the education way so that you can understand how to use your dollars currently as a tool to get to the other side. And that's what we talk about. And when you come to the class on November 6th, that's what we're truly going to talk about, getting to the other side with your pennies, from pennies to gold, crypto, gold, silver, crypto, and all the way to land. We're here for the conversation. I'm ready. I mean, if you guys got questions and you feel that there's something that, you need to get, come hit us on chat, hit us up in the chat. We got our YouTube channel running right now. We got our Clapper running, and we got our Stereo. Shout out to the Stereo family. We love you guys. And I'm going mute right now so Ms. Ruby can get back in here. And I'm so excited. I'm like, it is Fire Monday. I know it's mental wellness, but it's a Fire Monday right now. I am so amped.
I'm on, I got to remember to turn back on all my mics. But straight up, I'm trying to let folks know we are out here in our community helping folks who will help themselves, because no one can save you. No one can do this for you. You have to learn. You have to be able to take action. You have to take the time to get to know what steps to take. Ms. Ruby, how do we? Well, first we have to sit down and make a plan. What is your situation? Everybody's not in the same situation. We might be in the same boat, but we in this boat a different way. We in our seat in the boat. My seat in the boat is different than your seat. I've been taking care of my seat in the boat for like 6 years now. And I'm telling folks, we've been helping people figure out how to manage theirs. There's some folks that have been a part of our platform, haven't been to class in a long time. They used to come to the free classes, got a lot of value, learned how to do some things. But my question is are you still using it to get through and get over what's happening? Because sitting back on, I took that class, I know what to do when now is the time. We prepared you all for today, but there's moves you have to make to be able to move into the future of that. You can't move. Just because you get crypto, just because you get gold and silver, doesn't mean that you know what managing a portfolio is. Having diversification, taxes, dealing with those responsibilities. See, one of the things I let folks know right up in my class, like, oh, we don't have to, you know what I'm saying? We don't have to pay taxes. I said, no, this is not a tax evasion course. This is not how that works. I do not teach you how to avoid your taxes. You must go to a tax preparer for your asset management. But when it comes to getting them, you got to get them first. You all are chasing dollars, not knowing that that's not wealth. Everyone wants to be out of debt, not knowing that good debt management creates wealth in this country. Y'all want to jump off the board, but not play it and think that you're safe. That's not what we're here to tell you. We're here to bring you the facts of the game. The game works like this. You live amongst, and your financial system is a debt-based system. So the only winners are those who do debt well. In that debt-based system, it has to be utilized to acquire assets if you want to have the lifestyle. So you have to then learn how to manage assets. Ain't that crazy? All of a sudden, my 9 to 5 job, I'm sorry, my 9 to they're going near 11, because most of y'all are working way around the clock and paying the most taxes, means that you were never taught financial management, wealth management. You were taught financial literacy to maintain yourself as a consumer. And who educated you? The education system was created by the Rockefellers. And that little system went worldwide, if education even got to a country. The goal is get a good job, pay your bills, pay your taxes till you die. And that's how the world works. That's what you are aspiring to get a good job. You got to get that good education. Go to school and go into debt for decades of your existence. And not good debt, bad debt. The kind of debt that will keep you indebted and your time connected to the system. Well, why do they have those people? Who's making it happen though? The people who control your debt. So why don't you control your debt? Why don't you take your debt notes and make them assets? Why don't you turn your income into assets and live off the proceeds of an asset? Because the definition of an asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. You live at a deficit using, I hate to say it, liabilities. Your dollar is a liability until you turn it into an asset. Because it's something that takes money out your pocket. Miss Ruby, how does that work? Let's talk about it. When you get dollars, inflation in itself, every dollar you make has a fee connected to it. It's called taxes. Yes. It doesn't make itself back. It doesn't find cousins and keep filling your pockets. What it does, it runs away from you quickly. Alvin, that says time to class. You just, time to class. Okay, look, I love having fun with my husband. We do this as a labor of love, but to build our community. We don't just do this. We actually teach. We have been teaching for the last 6 years. Not the same thing. A lot of it has the same programming, but the programming has changed because you're going to learn about evolving tech. You're going to learn how to use evolving tech to make you income, to grow your finances right now. The wonderful thing is I have a rule. If ain't no money made on day one, then we don't pay. That's my rule, by the way. That's my rule, not for my platform. That's how we run the platform. But whenever I pay for education, if it hasn't got a way for me to change something the day of that puts me in a position to make my money now, I don't pay for it. So day one, you're going to be asset heavy. Now, if you come empty-handed, don't expect to leave with assets. I'll let you know that right now. I'm not touching your money because it doesn't pay me to have to put you on my schedule. That makes sense to anybody else? You have to teach a nation of teachers. We got to stop pedaling backwards in this thing. Community, stop trying to be the one to do everything for everybody. I got over 500 students and you are drowning because most of those students are just on paper. Because you ain't got an onboard for them that they can continue to manifest themselves. That's what P2G been doing for the last 5 years. That's what the value of it is. Someone takes their time with you so that then you can fly like a bird. All my students are flying. All my students are feeling confident and moving. Now they're learning advanced sessions. They've moved on. They've got businesses. They've learned how to move in a commerce, debt-ridden society, and they're now up their games. That's what P2G does. And those students are part of the network. So when they need, they have somewhere to feed from. How many times have y'all been on platforms where you start in something and then you didn't get it, but there was no one to go back because you got to pay more money for that? There's no one to take their time with you because that's not built into the program. And you know what? People used to tell me, "Oh, Miss Ruby, you take too much time." No, that's actually the value of my time because now our program can evolve. I have one. I love her. She's amazing. I already started our apprentice program for those who would like to learn how to teach. See, the thing is, you don't master financial literacy unless you're using it. And when you teach it, mastery is so much more, so much faster. You master what you can teach. But see, in this case, I'm teaching financial literacy, which means that everything we do, I'm doing. My lifestyle is shifting and changing. My whole world my finances are shifting and changing. The platforms that we show you, we're going to put finances in the spaces. We're going to do things live. We're not sitting here making me rich in front of you. Too many people have platforms where, unfortunately, them and maybe 2 or 3 people are making money. But there's 50 people registered. Why we all ain't got a hand in this? Because the shift hasn't happened. The mindset shift hasn't happened for the teacher. And the teachers have got to learn how to teach people, not their program. Because unfortunately, we got too many folks teaching the program. And the program, that's not the point. It's the people. And that's why we want to invite y'all to P2G. That's why we're saying hop on. That's why we're saying get the link so y'all could come into the community because we got a Facebook community and we got a Telegram community. Those are free. Hop in. When you go to P2G, sign up and get yourself a free account because when we shift everybody to the new website, free membership is guaranteed for everyone. So go sign up on P2G. Go take a look at what's available. Go get in the room. Because what's going to happen next? What else can possibly happen? One of the things that we do, and my husband has pointed it out for me, I got to be real clear on this. We don't play with the assets. We get them. We secure them. I have a free course that I'm going to be doing, a free masterclass that I'm going to be doing in the week after we start the program on the 6th. Everyone is included. When I say free, I mean for those who are members. Membership comes with benefits. Everything we do on the platform, everything that's available from the platform is free for your memberships, free for members. Anyone who would like to join that's not a member, maybe come to the masterclass, we do a donation. Well, if you want the donation link, hit us up in the back chat. I will get you the donation link. We are doing metals because right now you need metals. We're doing precious metals, gems, and stones. How to, where to, how to create a budget for it, how to acquire in a time where people are starting to flee. They're flocking to metals to where they're getting scarce. If you stay sitting on your hands long enough, you won't have anything to take your hands up and grab onto. Silver right now. Look, I'm waiting for a silver delivery as we talking about to my location. My silver didn't get to its location yet. And I'm like, yo, we got to talk about this. And there is a line I'm on for receiving, but at least I'm on it because the price of silver is also going up. And I keep telling everybody, you got to learn how to buy this stuff. You got to learn how to make these decisions. I know that I can go to the diamond district and go to my silver spot or my gold spot. I'll get it right up front, but it'll cost me more when I like to get more silver. You know, I like to get more of the asset. You understand? I have a way to discern what to do. It took time to learn, but it came from practice. It came from habits built in learning in a community. I had to learn from other folks, and then I had to put it into mastery. We want you to do that so that you can do that with your family, so that you can do that with the people you love. This world is very soon to shift in a very similar way, and it is ugly, and it is painful. We have people online losing their minds about losing their benefits, their SNAP benefits. Food intolerancy is a reality. We knew that people were starving, even in America. Children were starving. Families are starving. My question is why do they have to? One answer: lack of financial literacy. One answer: heavy dependency on governments, on handouts, support. And with what you got as support, you haven't been taught what to do with, because you were taught, we'll feed you. And now they're saying, we're not feeding you. What you going to do now? Because if you let them feed your family, you are now letting them starve your family. And that is a fact. It is happening. People are losing their mind. Folks, I'm going to be honest. Look, I got to go back to that young lady. Look, I had to put it out even though it was a little vulgar. But she was like, I know Miss got all the bundles, wearing Balenciaga, all of this, said, I got to have the Chanel. I got to have the long nails. I got to get my sneakers right. I got to get my coat, my watches, all this bling. Folks ain't flipping out over some food stamps. Ain't tripping out. Not y'all got to be dipped every week. Okay? Got to get your hair, your nail. I got to look right, folks. Are now flipping out because SNAP benefits are getting cut. Well, along with SNAP benefits getting cut, what do you think gonna happen to the price of food? For those who have cash, yes, you are paying cash. What do you think is gonna happen to your debit card with your money on it the minute this takes place? Why do you think this affects everybody, not just people on services? Because businesses got to still make their money, baby. They're not just going to drive the prices down. They have to pay for all of this. They got to keep their doors open. You think their rent went down because you don't got SNAP benefits? Do you understand? Let me try to roll this out for y'all. Oh, by the way, the government opening up does not change a thing. This was put in that big, beautiful bill. So it was going to happen no matter what. Get that? All these commercials, tell your such and such to open the government. It's just another push for another party. Get yourself over yourself. It's time now to understand. It's game time. It's time to start putting something on the books. We teach pennies to go. I don't teach you need $10,000 to get in. I teach you need 10 cents to get in. Let's go. Dude was saying, get 20, you got to get $20 worth of stock. I'm telling you, you need 10 damn cents to get started. And some common sense. Let's go. Because until you understand what's really out there, you out here playing this fake game. Now you crying over something that doesn't really have to affect you, but it does because you made you the dependent. Nobody made you the dependent but you. And nobody will keep you in that spot except yourself until you say, I need some new information. We got to get out of this. I've always been the kind of person that felt like, all problems had some sort, like problems were round, not square. They didn't run in a long line. I always felt like the world, I always knew that the world was round. So therefore all problems have a resolution. We come back to resolution. So all my goals have always been was thinking of a new, I just got to try something new. You know what I'm saying now? Just got to try something new. Maybe what I'm doing is not working. And that's how we build. P2G has been helping people build themselves up from the ground since day one. Find their home, find their stability. Actually, you know what? We've been helping y'all deal with yourselves because that's where it really all lies in. You don't have to be in fear if you start dealing with who you really are and you get back in charge of that person. Get back in charge of you. Ain't nobody spending your money but you. Remember that. And all this, Miss Ruby, I ain't got no money. How the hell are you on an internet at all if you don't have money? Get over yourself. It's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have. And we're teaching people how to turn pennies into gold, into a lot of value. Because that's what's raising right now. Whether it's digital or physical, we're turning digital into physical. Because as you need to have some for the future. You got to roll out for the future. You ain't living for the day. Everybody's like, oh, yo, we're going to blow this out. And what if you live till tomorrow? What then? Live like it's 1999. Notice Prince lived a long time after 1999. That was a song. It wasn't a instruction. We can party one night, but you got to wake up the next morning. And if you do, good luck. Because if you blew it all the night before, which y'all keep doing, every paycheck, living like it's going to keep coming, and now it's not. Starting with federal jobs. We talked about, Mr. Thomas and I have conversations about world connection. Everything's connected. Everything's connected. When the buildings downtown or the buildings in the government section their sector goes quiet because employees are not coming in a large number. Then you have the 5 to 10 food trucks that used to take care of the thousands of people, which might be a couple of hundred people now left in the area, who have to either shut their doors or find a new space. But when that is happening in a country, state to state to state to state, all over from one location to another, now people's benefits are being cut off. They don't understand. They don't have money. They're not eating out. You buying food and cooking at home. If you're smart, restaurants emptying out. These guys, I have never seen nicer waiters and wait staff in my life. Because if they're mean, angry, they don't get paid and they can lose their job quick because every restaurant needs every person that walks in the door. They're affected. They need you and they need you to give them a tip. Yeah. So crazy, right? I walked in with a shirt. I walked in the restaurant this week with a shirt. I forgot my own shirt said P2G crypto training. Do you know the service that I got at that table? We had 2 servers and the manager show up. Twice. Did you notice that, Mr. T? Oh, he laughing because he didn't notice. He did not notice. I did. Because they know my shirt means she got money. What does your shirt show? Hell, I don't care if it's on your shirt. What is your wallet saying? Is it saying I refill myself over time? Or is it saying, yo, we need money, what you doing? Come on. Y'all get that? There's a difference. When I talk to my ladies, I always like to talk to them. I say, it's the mama wallet. I like my mama wallet because my mama wallet refills herself. Why? Because I learned how to get my mama wallet to work for me. Anybody else? Mr. Thomas, you do not work for me, fool. He's so bad. I got my mama wallet to work for me. I got it to take on some jobs, some positions that I am not doing so I can continue to have these conversations with y'all on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Then I have time to have one-on-ones with my students. Then I have time to sign people up for our new session. And then I'll have time to go away to visit with my family and then come back to a fresh class. People who are ready to get started. Anybody ready to get your prerequisite letter to show you how to get started, how to set it up, how to get ready for the class? So when we get in there, we get started. It's woo! That's what I'm talking about. It's not coming in shaking like I've never been here. I don't know what it is. We do things in advance. A lot of y'all don't like to read, so we got videos, instructionals. Y'all don't have time to sit. You need to listen. You need to turn the radio off and have some voice in your head saying you can make it happen. This is how to do it. You need to have a book in your head, some of the books off our book list and in our library rolling in your car because it's free on YouTube. You need to have processes shifting your mindset because you said you want to be wealthy, but something about what you're doing ain't providing that. So maybe you try this. Maybe you try reprogramming yourself. Get some new information and some know-how on how to do it. And baby, don't go back into how to make money quick. How about you go back into how to sustain finances over time? Start earning passive income with what you have, and then start to add to that, because I'm not the only teacher in the space. That's the wonderful part. See, if my partners get their contracts right, they could be working. That's what I'm saying. I always tell people, once we have contracts, we have no conflict. But contracts go two ways, so we got to make an agreement. That's how that works. Agreements are two ways. Let's remember that. That's another part of wealth building. Learning how to manage contracts and agreements. You get that on P2G. Why? Oh my God. Because you can't have wealth without the whole of the game. You got to understand the whole game. Robert Kiyosaki, one of my favorite authors. I love this man. And let me tell you right now, another person that I'm really fond of, I want to share with you all. If you all recently saw a Warren Buffett video, we found out it was an AI hack telling people telling people to sell your gold and silver. I'm just going to let you know that I personally knew that was a lie. Okay. He was warning people off of this. First of all, you don't sell all your stock in your own company. That man built Berkshire Hathaway from the ground up through multiple crashes and sold the majority of his stock. Now he might sit on the board, but I want you to think about that. One of the smartest minds, most conservative minds in business. Recently, the man has bought. He was not a gold bug. That man during that whole time was huge on his stocks. He was telling people, United States you need to manage the currency. You need to do currency and the stock market, this, that, and the other, safe stocks. That's what we were looking for. Warren Buffett shifted in the last 10 years. His conversation shifted because he got exposed to two things: the real economy and the effects that it would have on people in his position. So he didn't buy gold, he bought gold mines, silver mines. I ain't telling his business, go read up on it. Because I had to do the research to find out why one of my folks that I follow was shifting. You see, I don't follow anybody. I look at the moves and I adapt them small in my space. And you know what I found out? I didn't need to play the stock game. I was already playing it. It wasn't working for me. I didn't like it. That wasn't my thing, right? Got in the crypto game. Oh, that moved nicely for me. I could save and see some growth, because when I was saving in cash, I recognized that game goes backwards. That game goes backwards. It's actually a game, and I'm on the wrong side of it. The cash game, I'm on the wrong side of. So we needed to explore, expand, open up the door to new knowledge. And I needed access, because everybody else was, you got to have a trader this, you got to have a this, that, and the other license to. I don't need a license to do anything with crypto in my own personal wallet. No, I don't. You can manage your own finances for yourself. And I know, Mr. Thomas, we're coming to the top of the hour. I want to make sure that we get you some information. So what we do, we provide. We have partnered with companies that provide resources that we talk about. Crypto in that area, we do not provide any cryptocurrency for anyone, but we do help you get access to it freely. So what we're going to do is share with you that we have a class coming up very soon. So we want to get into this. You don't want to just talk about it. So let's get it popping. If you're on with Breakfast with the Thomases, you want to talk about assets. This is our metals earn free assets as well. I love it because you can earn as you purchase your own, and I love it because I get to use my account for my family and friends, and they can purchase without worried about membership. I got a family bulk membership, and we actually offer, now just to let you know, I offer my students this, those who are just getting started, because At Cost Metals has been one of the best prices I've had come across, and it's tax-free, and you can write it off as a business expense. So I'm just really excited. I get my taxes taken off and business expense, the whole nine. That's just what I do. But we're talking bigger processing here. You understand what I'm saying? So get in touch. You can click the link if you're in the space. Al, did you put it in the link in the chat? Because I will do that for you guys. Now, also, one of these things, I want to ask you a question. I don't know about Mr. Thomas. How old y'all think these people is? You know what I'm saying? How old y'all think we are? Well, most of this is because what goes in comes out. And for both of us, we've improved our health. And I can only say that one of my biggest factors is a company and a product called Microdaily. And I want you guys to really do your research, because Microdaily is helping people kick things. One is kicking cancer in the butt. You know, I want to just say we are connecting with folks and letting them know that it has actually been noted by the government as not a cure, but a treatment for cancer. And I want you all to start looking up things that actually really help, that are natural, help your body fight by cleansing it. You know, friends of mine have shared with me, Miss Ruby, I tried it and it made me itch. Well, it's detoxifying your system. That's how it works. It pushes out that which you've been putting in for years. So you can say it's gonna hurt before it helps. And that's on the first time. You know, some things don't work for a while. It works the first time. And I really love it, because the energy you see had to come from somewhere. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, y'all. It's almost 9. It's 9. Okay, and we are on with you all. I want you all to start realizing that we have to keep our health and our wealth have to be synonymous. You don't just do one or the other. Like it says, I don't want to be the prettiest corpse in the richest corpse in the graveyard. Al Cornell. He always says, you don't want to be the richest corpse in the graveyard. No, I want to live a long time, not just to spend, but to continue to amass the wealth and the empire that I'm building, called P2G Networks. A place where people get to come home and learn and feel at ease. Because not only do you know how the world works, but now you know how to work it for yourself and your family. And you can feel good doing it, feel better doing it. That's my thing. All about health, okay? No, I've been on with you guys for a while. So also, we have one last little ditty here. Don't forget, come to class. Go ahead and sign up on p2gnetworks.com. Look up the class schedules link. You're going to love it. Now, also, we have the links at the bottom, because we have the advertisements on the bottom. Now, I'll put it there, so up front. Just click whichever one you want. You join monthly or you join weekly. You have a choice. And no matter how you show up, you'll be in class. You'll be a part of the community. You'll have access to all of the resources, replays, videos, tutorial videos, even our library. Yes, you will. And I want you guys to just spend some time taking care of you. We do Mental Wellness Monday because it's built on bringing you out of the world and into your world in a great, calm, and safe way. Now, if you do find yourself getting triggered, I don't care if it's after the show, reach out to us, please. Because if you found yourself becoming triggered by the activities or the conversations that we're having, you need to make sure you stay connected to a source. We have resources for you. That was the point of creating a network of networks. The community needs us, and they need you too. Your family needs you. So let's get it popping. We love you all. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you on Wednesday. Class starts on the 6th, which is next Thursday. So if you want to reach out to us, don't worry. You'll see us on Breakfast with the Thomases. We are also going to still be on our Wednesday. Wednesday is a community meetup where we talk about how all this stuff works, the crypto, the gold, and where we're getting into. So we get a bit of an intro and info session. Every Wednesday, it's free. All you have to do is sign up at P2G Class Sessions. It's up there. Get your link. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you. Mr. Thomas, you go and give him some love. I gave him some.
My bad, my bad. Oh yeah, if you got it, just if you missed any of this, run the replays on. We got the replays on stereo. We got the replays on YouTube PTG Networks TV. And we love having you here. It was a great day, great space. If you're triggered, hit us in the back chat. We know where to get you some information, some help. And if you want to know about the classes, the links that we posted for you guys, and we have the link overhead that'll tell you how to get us started. So Grand Rising Salty Coffee. Oh, Ministers in the building, Dreamy Goobaloo. Salty Coffee in the house for stereo. And then we got our people on Clapper and our YouTube family. Thank you for being with us on Breakfast with the Thomases. It's been a great pleasure. It is Mental Wellness Monday, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday for Work It Out Wednesday. If you guys got anything you want to talk about, hit us in the back chat. Let us know. We'll do the research, and we'll contact you and let you know when you can be on the panel so we can have the conversation with you included. All right? Peace and blessing to you. I'm out of here.